Hi, and welcome to the Hub Communication Portal Overview. I am Marlo, and I'm going to be going over this with you. This video is interactive. Watch this video on a laptop or a computer and follow along on your phone for best results. Please make sure on your phone that you are logged in to the email address that you gave us when hired. Also, you must use Google Sheets to access your Hub. If you don't, the Hub will not work properly. Please pause the video now and download Google Sheets to your phone and sign into your email on your phone. When you open up Google Sheets, scroll down to the bottom and click on your Hub to open it. If you do not see your Hub listed in Google Sheets, please stop the video now and call your supervisor so that we can give you access to your Hub. If your screen is in dark mode and is black in the background, you can change that by simply clicking on the three-dot ellipsis menu in the upper right-hand corner and choose View in Light Mode. Here's how to do it on an Android phone. So there is a weird thing that happens sometimes when you are using your Hub. If ever you're finding that you can't click on something or it's freezing up on you and you can't do anything, look in the upper left-hand corner there where that checkbox is. Check that check mark and it will disappear, and then you'll be able to click on things again. I'm not sure what that is, but sometimes it shows up and you don't really know it until you can't move, so just check that box and you should be good to go. Please make sure that no boxes are checked at this time. All right, let's get into it. When you first open your Hub, here at the top of your screen, you will see a light pink section that is labeled Supervisor. The first item listed is the Supervisor line and is the direct line of contact only for use by our cleaning technicians, meaning only employees have access to this number and is solely dedicated for the immediate contact to a supervisor. Customers only have this second line listed as a contact, and they must go through a prompt system to be appropriately transferred to either a customer service representative, a sales representative, or a supervisor. And right below that, you will see a light gray section labeled Ready Up. In there, there's a little checkbox that says Check When Ready. This little checkbox here is how you clock in and request a work schedule to be assigned to you. In order for you to successfully clock in, you must check this box no later than 7:45 a.m. What this does is generate a work schedule for the day. This generally takes anywhere between 2 and 15 minutes to populate. So by 8 o'clock a.m., you should have your schedule populated below. If you do not, please contact your supervisor to find out why. It's important that you understand that you must check this Ready Up box no later than 7:45 every morning that you're scheduled to work. So if you do not intend on working for the day, like if you've called in sick, you do not want to check this box because you're not requesting a schedule to be assigned to you. There is nothing more important that you do here, besides cleaning houses of course, than completing the schedule that you have requested and that we have assigned to you. If you do not check the box by 7:45, then you run the risk of not getting a work schedule for the day. And if you are scheduled to work, then it will count as a no-call, no-show. So super important that you know that you must check this box on or before 7:45 every day. So go ahead and check your Ready Up box now. Now, your first job of the day does not actually start at 7:45. You're only checking in and letting us know that you plan on working. The earliest that your first job will start is at 8:30 a.m. Once you have received your schedule, you will see a slew of information that populates below. Once your schedule populates, you will notice a light blue section. This is your partner list and who you are scheduled to be partnered with for the day. Anybody that has a star next to their name, like for instance Holly here, this is the team's leader. You will also see who else you are partnered with. Your name and your contact information is listed as well. Once you see who you are partnered with, it is important that you give your team leader a call or a text. Tell them your name, that you are new, and that you need to know where you all will be meeting at. Now, they should contact you first, but if they don't, then you must contact them. Every team leader has the freedom in the morning to decide where the meeting point is. It doesn't always have to be at the same place, and it doesn't always have to be at the first job of the day. Depending on what your team leader needs to get done in the morning, like for instance, if they need gas or if they need cleaning supplies, will depend on where you all will be meeting. So just give them a call, let them know who you are, and ask them where you all will be meeting. It is very important that you are not late. You do not want everyone else in your team to be waiting around for you to arrive. If you'll notice down at the bottom of the blue section, you will see a checkbox that says, I drove today. As you know, we pay for your gas while working. This checkbox here is for this purpose. Your gas is paid from your first job all the way to the address of your second job, then again to the address of your third job, and so on. We do not pay your gas to drive to the first job, and we do not pay your gas to drive home. We only pay from job to job. Now, if you carpool for the day and you are the passenger, then you do not check the box, I drove today. The only way to be fully reimbursed for your gas is to carpool. That means if you all drive separately, then you all will split the gas reimbursement. So it makes sense to carpool because you all are going to the same addresses for the day, and you can take full advantage of having your gas paid for. Otherwise, the gas reimbursement is split between the drivers. So, under the light blue section, you will notice a yellow section. This yellow section is your customer base for the day. So on your yellow section, you will see your first job of the day is training with Marlo. So let's go ahead and check the box, job has been completed, just for the purpose of this instruction. So the next job and the customer that you will see is Marcia Mello. I want you to notice some information here. You will see the customer's first and last name, their zip code, and just under that you will see a small note. This quick note right here can be any note and is the most current note that we need you all to read and understand. So very important not to miss this quick note. Then under the quick note you will see two different time formats. The first time format on the left, this is the time that you all are scheduled to arrive. The second time format on the right is how long the customer has paid for and how long you are supposed to stay. It is very important that you stay the full amount of time, no matter what time you arrive, because at this point, the customer has already paid for the service and has made arrangements for the arrival time agreed upon. Even if you arrive a few minutes early or a few minutes late, the time that the customer has paid for must be the time that they receive. If you leave early, the customer will complain, and then we will have to refund some of their money because they were not given the time that they paid for. If the time says that we are to arrive at 8:30, then the customer will expect us to arrive around 8:30. Likewise, if it says an hour and a half that we are supposed to stay, then the customer will expect us to stay for the hour and a half. Go ahead and check the box Send on the Way text just for the purpose of this example. Okay, so now if you could, let's go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of this yellow section here, and this is where you're going to find some more information of Marcia's. Here it lists Marcia Mello's address, and right below that you will see where it says there. This means that Marcia will be there to let you in. Now, sometimes it can say something like there's a garage code or a key under a rock, just some sort of information so that you know how you all will gain entry into the customer's home. Then you will notice right under there's a little link that you can click on to navigate over to Marcia Mello's house. Underneath that, it will again tell you how long that you are supposed to stay, along with your targeted arrival time. Then underneath that, here is where you're going to find job notes and the type of service that the customer has requested. Now, depending on how long Marcia has been a customer of ours will depend on how long or lengthy her job notes are. Very important to read customer notes even if you've been there before, because you never know, something could have been added or a change could have been made to reflect the most current requests. So very important to always read these job notes before calling the office to ask a question about this job. All right, so let's just say that you guys have arrived, you have finished cleaning the home, and you're ready to get on and move on to the next job. What you're going to want to do is check the box that says job has been completed. And what that's going to do is it's going to immediately send your customer a text message explaining to them that the job has been completed. It will also ask the customer for their opinion and to rate the cleaning that they just received. It will only take them 30 seconds, and then a link is provided for them to click on. So if you will with me, let's go ahead and scroll back down to the bottom of the yellow section to see our next customer's information. It's actually not going to tell us this information. What you see here is it says send on the way text to reveal address. And what this means is if you scroll back up to the yellow section where Mr. Messy's yellow square is, this is where you're going to see send on the way text. So let's go ahead and check the box send on the way text now. What this does is immediately sends the next customer a text message letting them know that you will be there within a few minutes. Now, depending on where you are in the world will depend on the time given to the customer. So if you're 5 minutes away, it will tell the customer that you're 5 minutes away. If you're 20 minutes, then it will tell the customer that you are 20 minutes away, so on and so forth. So it's pretty important that you do not send on the way text to the customer, right? Because what if you're not immediately on your way? What if you have a break or that you need to get gas or something along those lines? You wouldn't want to tell them that you're on your way when you are not in fact on your way. So if your schedule indicates a 20-minute break before heading to Mr. Messy Guy's house, avoid texting him that you're on the way until after your break. Once your break is over, then you can go ahead and check the box send on the way text to let him know that you are en route. Now, another situation where the hub would not show you the customer's address is if you are more than 15 minutes ahead of the customer's agreed upon time. Customers do not appreciate it if we are more than 15 minutes ahead of time or after their scheduled appointment time. So moving right along here, you're going to see the same information for Mr. Messy Guy as you did for Marsha Mello. How you will gain entry into the home, how long you're supposed to stay, and the type of service, and then his job-specific notes. So your breaks and your lunches will be listed in the yellow customer section as well. So when you see that there is a break scheduled for you, it is important that you take it. As you can see, as you go about your day, you will use the Hub communication portal to communicate with your customers. You're going to be checking off boxes, letting them know when you're on the way, when the job is complete, and then that way they have the opportunity to rate and tip you. It is also important for you to know that your yellow customer section here can and will sometimes change. There will be times under certain circumstances where your workflow changes and we may have to add or remove jobs in your queue. It all just kind of depends on what's happening at that moment. So if we do in fact need to make changes to your schedule, you will be notified via text that your schedule has changed. If and when you get those messages, it's a good idea to completely close the hub and reopen it so those new changes can populate.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what else the hub has to offer. All right, so somewhere on your phone, you should be able to see some additional tabs that you can click on and open. Sometimes they're at the top of your screen, but they can also be at the bottom of your screen. But they say pouch, rating, jackpot, reports, and then there is a completed tab. So we are already in the pouch tab. So let's go ahead and take a look at rating.
Your rating tab is all about stats, stars, and bonuses. Let's first talk about our bonus system so you have an idea of how that works. All right, so everybody has a starting point and everybody begins with a 5-star rating. Earning bonuses is simple. All you need to do is keep a 5-star rating for 5 consecutive weeks. Then you earn a $25 bonus. If you keep your 5-star rating for another 5 weeks,
so 10 weeks total, your bonus doubles. You keep on going like that in 5-week increments until it caps you at $200. So what happens if your rating drops? After all, a 4-star rating isn't bad. If you drop from 5 to 4 stars, the clock pauses. You don't lose any weeks that you've already accumulated. Once you get back to 5 stars, the count picks up from where it left off. However, if you go down from 4 stars to 3 stars, then the clock resets completely. You must get back to 5 stars and then start a new 5-week streak over again at week 1. Okay, so let's look into this a little bit further.
When you look at your rating, the first line here at the top will display how many stars you are rated in real time. This is a note showing you how many weeks to maintain your 5-star rating
To earn a bonus.
and under that, you will find your streak and bonus stats. Now, you won't actually have any stats just yet because you are new and just starting out. So let's go ahead and take a look at a current employee's rating tab so that you can see an example with some information in it. So in this example, it shows this person is currently at a 5-star rating.
Then it shows if she keeps her 5 stars for 5 more weeks, she will earn a bonus payout. Here it states that currently she has held on to this 5-star rating for 10 consecutive weeks in a row. Then underneath that, it's going to show that her highest streak ever is at 15 weeks. And last, at the bottom, it's going to show her what her current bonus payout will be.
Okay, so in this example, it shows that this person fell into a 4-star rating.
So here the note says that her streak has paused and that she needs to reach 5 stars again to continue. However, if you'll notice, her current streak did not reset to 0. That's because the system will allow you some time to get back up to that 5-star rating before it completely resets on you. That will happen when you get down to 3 stars. It's also important for you to know that if your rating falls as low as a 2-star rating, you will no longer be put on the schedule. So in this light green section here is a quick breakdown. It will show you any recent complaints that you've received and any recent rating losses. Remember, your rating trends up every day that you are at work and you complete your schedule.
So rating is determined by issues related to keeping customers happy and sticking to your schedule. So what causes a rating to go down and how much does it cost? The worst ding in your rating is a full star. The instances where you would lose a whole star is as follows, but is not limited to no call, no shows, being absent on a blacklist day, failing to finish your schedule, taking too long to go from job to job, relying on your partner to do most of the work while you take it easy, aka being lazy, lying or dishonest behavior, marking that you drove when you did not, checking the ready up box if you are not intending on working. To lose about a half of a star includes but is not limited to unexcused absences, customer complaints, being late to the first job, failing to follow your team lead's instructions, not staying the full time at a job or staying too long without approval, blatant disrespect to a team leader management. And to lose about a quarter of a star includes but is not limited to being unprepared for work, a bad attitude, and being a burden on management.
So I do want to say that any complaint that you may receive will automatically drop off of your record after 30 days. So ways to boost your ratings up: if you receive positive feedback from a customer. Also, if you are the carpool driver, that will boost your rating up as well. If you go above and beyond to make a customer happy, and just showing a genuine interest in getting better at your job will definitely increase your rating. So you do very much have control over your rating, and there are many, many ways to earn ratings and boost yourself up. So I do know a couple of get out of jail free cards that you can do that will get you out of the doghouse fast. So if you ever find yourself in a pickle with your rating, don't forget that I do have get out of jail free cards. All you need to do is ask me. If you do want to read up on our rating system and how it works, then I encourage you to read through the entire rating tab to learn more.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Jackpot tab. The Jackpot tab is kind of cool because it offers all active employees an interesting way to earn some extra money. We have 2 games to play, and if you win actual cash. So what are they and how do you play?
So the first one is called the Jackpot, and in the Jackpot, all the cleaning technicians band together, and in the end, you all split the winnings. The second one is called Jackpotsy, and in that one, you play to the highest score with only one winner. So the first one you'll notice is the Jackpot. So Jackpot is similar to Bonus as it applies to all active cleaning techs for Colorado Springs House Cleaning Service. And the way that it works is all cleaning techs must be at a 5-star rating. Once that happens, you are in the zone. And once in the zone, each day money gets loaded into the pot. The amount that is added to the pot is determined by the amount of active employees, as well as how many positive ratings come through from our customers when they rate the cleaning they received through our phone app. To get the jackpot to pay out, all cleaning techs must stay in the zone for 15 work days in a row. If you want to know more about how the jackpot works and what it is, right there beneath all of the stats there is a little section that says what the jackpot is and how it works. So the next game that we have here in this jackpot tab is a game called Jackpotsy. Jackpotsy is similar to the game Yahtzee if you're familiar with that. In order to find out more about Jackpotsy, there is a link on your hub that you can click on and it will bring you to a YouTube video and you can learn how to play. So now that you know how to play our bonus games, let's move over to the Reports tab. The Reports tab is super important as it is how you will communicate to management when there are small issues and small concerns, as well as for a few other reasons at work. When you first open the Reports tab, you will get a screen that looks like this. And if your issue is in the top yellow section here, all of these issues here are examples of when it is appropriate for you to file a report. If your issue falls into the bottom red section, then it would not be appropriate for you to file a report. You would actually want to call your supervisor directly for these types of issues here in the red. Like say for instance, if you get locked out of a customer's home that you were scheduled to clean, or if you were running more than 20 minutes late or 20 minutes early, or if there was something that you broke while in a customer's home. These would all be situations where you would not file a report and you would just call your supervisor directly. An easy way to decide if your issue requires a report or an actual phone call, besides looking at the red and yellow section, is if your issue is going to cause your schedule to change or if it is an emergency. Please call. For everything else not listed in the red or yellow guide here, just file a report. So let's look at an example. Let's say that you are needing to call in sick for the day. And by looking at the guide, calling in sick would actually fall into the yellow section, so you would file a report for that. Follow along with me on your phone so that you can kind of see what entails when you file a report. What you would do is click on the bottom here where it says click here to file a report. When you do that, you will see a link pop up. Click on that link and it'll bring you to a web page that looks like this. So as you can see at the top of this website, it lists when it's appropriate to file a report and when it isn't. This is just a reminder, so if you need a reference, you've got one here.
Go ahead and select the appropriate branch.
Then, if you'll notice down at the bottom, here are a few bullets. If you are calling in sick, you would select the emergency time off call-in bullet and then hit next. It brings you to another screen where you are able to detail your calling in sick information into the fields below. You can also see here it gives you a bit more information on what calling in sick entails, so just fill it out and then hit next. So when you look through the bullet list, you just want to make sure that you select an appropriate bullet that corresponds with what you need to report on. So let's just say that you want to file a report, but your issue doesn't fall into the yellow section and it doesn't fall into the red section, but you still want to file a report. You can select the Report Something Else bullet. Look, if it's important enough for you to sit down and write a report, we definitely want to hear about it. So please just let us know, file a report under that Something Else bullet. You should also know that if you are needing to request time off work, you need to do that here in the Reports tab. We can approve your time off request with no burden on your rating if you give us at least 3 business days notice. Also, I should advise you to not call your supervisor or the office to call in sick. You would actually only file a report for it. Do not call us. The reason being, we need a record of it, and also it gets pretty chaotic in the morning at the office, and you can easily be forgotten or brushed off if you call in and it's not dire. If at all possible, please try to call in sick before 7:45 a.m. All right, we're almost done here. Last, but certainly not least, is the Completed tab. Now, the Completed tab is also going to be a pretty important tab for you to know about. In it, you will see some information here listed at the top. You will see previous pay week information Monday through Sunday. It will show you previous pay week credit card tips that you have received. It also will show you any bonuses that you've received in that previous pay week, as well as your current hourly pay rate without any of those tips or bonuses that you've earned. Likewise, it also shows how many hours you worked in that previous pay week, and then the pay week's start date and end date. So below the previous pay week information, you will eventually have all the jobs that you have ever completed since working here listed in this section. And along the right side of the chart, it will show you the status of the job. So if you have been paid on it or if it's still pending a payout. Along the left side of this chart, you will see the date of the cleaning that you performed and the customer's name, and then how long you were at that particular customer's home cleaning. The color coding is pretty simple. Any field that is highlighted in green, this indicates a paid status. Any field highlighted in yellow is still pending a payout. If a field is highlighted in purple, then it is a customer that left you a positive review. Any field highlighted in red is a complaint. If and when you do get a complaint or a positive review, it will also give you a little explanation from the customer as to why they were not happy and left a negative rating, or why they were happy and left a positive rating if they chose to fill out the reason when they rated the service. So look out for that. So this is the Hub and an overview of it. I hope you guys are feeling ready because tomorrow you will be out on the cleaning circuit. If you need any help at all, please do not hesitate to call or text us and ask your questions as needed. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Bye.